Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Under One Roof MTL, where we are demystifying home ownership 1 week at a time. My name is Robin Flynn, joined as always in studio by Fred Pichette and Martin Spalding of Fred and Martin Mortgages. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Could it be any rainier for you?
Good afternoon, Robin.
You know what, Robin? Let it rain.
Let it rain. It's good
for the
grass.
You know why? Last night was the Knicks. This morning was the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
4 World Cup games this afternoon and tonight. And there's even hockey tonight at 8 o'clock.
6, yep.
So you know what?
Yeah.
Pull out your comforter.
Yep.
Make some popcorn.
Stay home.
And settle in.
Yep, absolutely. After you listen to this show in its entirety, of course.
Absolutely.
All the way through.
Nothing starts before 1 o'clock.
Absolutely nothing. LJ Aguinaga of LJ Realties. Hey, LJ, how's it going?
Great, Robin. How you doing?
I am fantastic. There's nothing I love better than a rainy day, honestly, because it feels like an excuse to just stay home and, we're going to watch a movie. It feels like you've got a built-in excuse.
I'll take a sunny day on the weekends.
Yeah, well, we had yesterday. Yesterday was lovely. It was wonderful. My daughter started soccer, so it was a lot of fun to watch her run around. I showed you a video, Martin. Yeah. She's never played before. I thought she did pretty well. It's hard to learn to kick a ball. It's difficult.
We did the same thing yesterday with Victoria, actually.
Really?
Yeah, we had our group had, one of our buddies ran Apex soccer training. So we had
cool.
6 or 7 kids running around for the first time with little balls and kind of understanding.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's fun. Plus, it burns energy. So she slept so well last night, which is...
Bring it on.
That's the goal. She slept until 6:45 this morning, guys.
Oh. Ooh.
That's a win.
That means
Our
Mom
house
slept
actually
until
slept till
6:45.
8 this morning.
8?
Record.
That means LJ slept till 8.
Yeah, first time in a very long time.
Wow, it's like winning the lottery. Speaking of winning, we have a chance for you to win some cookies from Felix and Norton. You can visit their store at the Blue Haven Shopping Center, 3705 St. John's Boulevard in DDO. If you think you know the answer to the question I'm about to ask, text us at 514-790-0800 and please include your name so we can give you a shout out on the air. If you're the first one through with the correct answer, you're getting cookies. Our question this week: how many times has the Bank of Canada lowered the overnight rate in the last 12 months?
Oh, you came out with a difficult one.
Yes,
Whoa,
it's a little bit trickier. You gotta.
We're going to talk about the Bank of Canada.
Well, just don't say how many times they've lowered it in the last 12 months.
Okay, but I'll refer to something else.
Perfect. So if you think you know it, 514-790-0800. We'll announce the winner a little bit later in the show. Speaking of the Bank of Canada, they did have an interest rate announcement this week.
Shocker.
They held interest rates. No difference.
You mean a non-announcement.
A non-announcement, exactly. But you guys were 3 for 3. All 3 of you thought that they would not be doing anything with interest rates, and they did not. So what are your reactions to this news?
Well, it was the 5th straight announcement with no movement. So the reason fairly simple. The bank is caught between 2 opposing forces. So on one side, the Canadian economy is soft. Growth has slowed. Housing activity is weaker. Business investment is cautious. Normally, that would make the Bank of Canada be more open to cutting rates. But on the other side, inflation is a concern, partly because of energy prices and global uncertainty. We're supposed to get some kind of announcement this afternoon. That's coming out of the White House, but I'm not sure if Iran's on the same page as that. So the bank does not want to cut too quickly and risk aggravating inflation. So they're in a wait-and-see mode. So there are 2 possible paths moving forward. If the economy weakens further due to U.S. trade restrictions and slower consumer activity, the bank may eventually have room to cut. But if oil prices remain high, start pushing inflation higher, the bank may hold longer. And if more extreme scenarios appear, even consider raising hike rates. Excuse me, that's a
Rate hikes.
Rate hike. That's a tongue twister for a Sunday. So, practical advice for clients: don't make your mortgage decisions based only on the hope that rates may fall soon. Build your plan around today's numbers. Understand your cash flow and choose the mortgage strategy that fits your risk tolerance. So if you go variable, there's always risk to that. And finally, there's one announcement coming up in July 15th. You guys were willing to bet what's going to happen on July 15th?
Well, I think it's going to be another wait-and-see approach from the Bank of Canada.
LJ?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, absolutely nothing.
Okay, and
Robin,
then
what
they,
are your thoughts?
what are my thoughts? I listen to you. You guys are the experts. So whatever you say, that's what I tell my friends. They're always coming to me, Robin, what do you think is going to happen? I'm like, well, according to the guys.
According to the guys,
This is what they think.
nothing's going to happen on July 15th.
I was with my economist friend again yesterday.
Okay.
We were at a barbecue together, and the reality is, yeah, she's like, it's going to be, if anything, if this war does get signed, obviously, then things are going to start cooling down a little bit, might even come back down a bit. But right now, it's going to be business as usual, no significant change.
I was in the States yesterday, and I actually tanked up, and it was over $5 a gallon.
Which would work out to what a liter? What's
$15 a liter. I'm joking.
I'm bad at the conversion.
But
Imperial to metric.
It was
is
the first time I was standing there going, wow, it's $5 a gallon.
$1.31 roughly.
$1.31. That feels so cheap, but I know that's expensive for the U.S.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, sorry, we didn't convert.
Oh,
either.
that's $1.31 U.S.
U.S. per liter times 1.38, $1.81 Canadian.
So the same, the literal exact same prices here.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
crazy.
not the same. It's the same if you compare to our dollar. Currency.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we're paying $1.81 a liter here, so works out to
Yeah,
about
but
the
for
same
American,
thing.
It was
costs
pricey to fill the car
$1.30.
yesterday.
Pardon me?
It was pricey to fill the car yesterday.
Yeah. Well, you drive a huge truck, right?
Wow.
Relative terms here. Relative terms.
Hello.
It's
So do I.
appropriately-
I drive an SUV. It's expensive to
I
fill
got
it
a lot
up.
of stuff to haul, so.
Yeah, exactly. So do I. I have a child. It's unbelievable how much stuff they require you to bring everywhere you go.
Insane.
Insane. Okay, this is also an interesting story that I saw this week. If you are somebody who is renting, you're going to want to pay attention. So let's say you're renting and your landlord, not the most responsible person, maybe going through some tough times, stops paying his mortgage. Misses one payment, misses two payments, misses three payments. Maybe the bank is starting to talk repossession here at some point. What are your rights as a tenant? Could you be forced out of the property if this happens because your landlord didn't pay the mortgage? Could you be on the hook? We heard about tenants having to pay property taxes before. So what would happen here, LJ?
So the beauty of this in Quebec, I won't speak for the rest of Canada, which I think the rest of the article is anchored on, is that you're protected. It's happened to one of my tenants. We actually foresaw this potentially happening, so we immediately signed a 3-year lease off the hop because we wanted to secure this property for a long time. And the extent of what could happen to you is that you might get a registered letter stating that you now have to pay your rent to the lending institution that had the mortgage. So in the case that we had, Desjardins was collecting the rent for about 1.5 or 2 years, but nobody can force you out. And the beauty of the bank being responsible for the property is that they can't kick you out either, because repossession in Quebec requires an owner to want to move back into the property and follow the correct timelines for giving notice and whatnot. So this client of mine actually, as a friend, is like, you're protected. Nobody can force you out. You can stay there for pretty well as long as you want. And given everything that's happened, it's going to be pretty tough for the owner of the property to prove that he's actually trying to move back into this property and he's not just trying to liquidate it for financial reasons. So you're going to get to enjoy living there. Now, what can happen, what does become a little bit more complicated on that same note, is that in February this year, the heating system in the property broke down. And when you have a landlord who's MIA and very difficult to reach, it becomes very difficult to manage a situation like that. So even though in the past he'd usually just send them an email and say, hey, this is breaking, I'm going to fix it, I'll deduct it off rent. Now we're looking at a $15,000 to $20,000 expense for a new HVAC system in a larger building in our home. That becomes a very different conversation. So he went to the rental board. They told him to go to the city and get like an injunction. So there's a bit more layers to it, but nevertheless, there's always something that you can do to stay protected and go from there.
My very first apartment, the landlord died shortly after we moved in. So the entire year that I lived there, I wrote all my checks to the estate of the landlord. And it was, I think his nephew was his executor who came and collected it. But that was a weird experience for me as my first apartment ever as a tenant. You don't know what your rights are, what you're supposed to do. It's really confusing. So
I took the same angle as LJ, because when I read the article, it was basically the rest of Canada more than Quebec. And one thing that really jumped out at me, and I'm not going to ask LJ because he's the landlord around the table, is that tenants should keep paying the right people and keep a record of everything they do and respect their lease obligations so they don't get into default. That's what really jumped out at me. So just because the landlord isn't respecting his obligations or her obligations by paying their mortgage, you need to continue to respect yours, not to put yourself in a compromising position.
100%. That's super important because that's really what protects you and maintains your lease active.
Excellent. If you are ready to purchase a property, a multiplex, and you don't want to fall behind on your payments as a mortgage holder, as a landlord, hire the Plex doctor. Let them come in and help make sure that everything is above board. They'll keep everything, keep great records, keep everything organized. Give them a call at 514-709-6397 or visit their website at plexdr.com. This is Under One Roof MTL on CJD 800. I'm Robin. That's Fred. That's Martin. That is LJ. Summer upgrades that actually add value. Maybe not today. It's raining a little bit, so maybe we're not going to be doing any repaving of the driveways this afternoon. But if you're thinking about it, it's summer, you're spending more time outside, and you're thinking, maybe I should give my backyard a bit of an overhaul, but I know I'm going to sell my house in a couple of years, so maybe I want to do stuff that actually will add value when it comes time to sell. So LJ, what are some things that actually add value? I think a lot of people think adding a pool adds value, but for some people that can be a deterrent because it's a lot of maintenance to own a home with a pool.
That is the worst thing you can do if you're looking to add value to the home,
Really?
unfortunately. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
up there at least. And I just want to specify, because you mentioned that over the next couple of years selling is a little bit different than if we wanted to sell, let's say, in the next 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
We'd prioritize different things. So if you are thinking down the road years-wise, the return on investment also has a return on enjoyment, and we have to kind of figure out what's more important to you and the way you live and the way you're actually going to enjoy this space before making a firm decision. Because my best ROI or return on investment things are going to be clean up the entire front yard, make sure your driveway is in great condition, reseal it if you have to, really have an excellent first impression when people pull up to your property. That is really the biggest driver of getting people to fall in love and set the stage for coming into a wonderful property. Because if you do the inverse and you don't take care of your front yard, people show up to a property and they're like, ooh, this doesn't look so good. If they're not taking care of the exterior of the property or the front, how are they taking care of the interior of the property? Yeah. And you've already brought them down a couple of octaves so that when you want to bring them back up, it's a lot more difficult. Yeah. So it's not very expensive to grab a rake and a blower and kind of come and clean up your entire front yard, lay down some grass seeds, do that kind of stuff, maybe put some planter beds some flower beds out and set that up. So that's really the best return on your investment. And then the same thing is your backyard, doing the exact same thing, making sure you kind of have a level backyard if you can, making sure that the slope is going away from your property so that water isn't accumulating on the edge of your foundations, and then making sure that everything is crisp and clean. That's the best ROI, no question about it. Off we go. After that, what would we do? We can start talking about, we spoke about just resurfacing your driveway, but maybe you want to go with a paving stone driveway and making it nicer and kind of make this beautiful entranceway. Maybe you want to work on the side entrance to the backyard, so it's a nice passageway and it's not just like mucky and dirty and tough to get through. After that, we can talk about redoing your deck. Are we going to go composite? Are we going to go wood? Are you using treated cedar? What's your plan for this? How big is this? Does it have a really stable, solid foundation? So investing in these things is super important to really get the most use out of it. And think about how somebody's going to want to live in your property. So if you have a kitchen that has, let's say, a sliding patio door, be a great place to set up a nice deck where you can have a barbecue out there. Yep. So you can use it in the winter, you can use it in the summer, having a secondary area where you can set up a table. Maybe that's on a wood deck as well. Maybe that's on some paving stones down on the floor, or maybe even just you set something up that's kind of clean. Fantastic. So envisioning how somebody's going to live in the property, and if you don't have imagination and you're really struggling in that department, ChatGPT has become an excellent tool. Just take a photo of your backyard and say, hey, look, I want a really cost-efficient solution. My budget is $5,000 or whatever you might have, and get it to give you some ideas. And it'll get to work, and it's not going to be to scale, and it's not going to be perfect, but at least it'll help you start visualizing what is possible with your property.
I wonder, is it worth it? Things, those like double level, 2-level decks, and then you've got the paving stones at the bottom and the pergola and the propane fire pits. And do stuff like that add enough value that it becomes worth it? Because doing a huge overhaul of your backyard like that would cost a lot of money. Are you going to get that back when you sell?
It depends. It's kind of the short answer. The reality is, a property that is sold in summertime with all of these features kind of well set up, as long as the interior is in good condition as well, you're in pretty good shape to recover, I'd say, at least 70 to 85% of that back. Okay. You're definitely it's an investment that we'll be getting back, and it kind of goes in parts. Wood deck, I have some statistics here that I had pulled. Your wood deck is usually about 83% return on investment.
Okay.
A fire,
even though it's a lot of maintenance, a wood deck?
It depends. Is it treated
Yeah.
cedar? It depends on what it
Right.
is. Even though it is a lot of maintenance, it's still people still respect it. It's a nice
Right.
wood deck. It's still in good condition. Like especially if it's
Get
newer.
warm.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun to use. A fire pit could be 78 to 100% return on investment.
Oh, wow.
And you can get some that really aren't that expensive right now as well. So that's pretty neat. A composite deck is about 68%.
Okay.
People still just don't like the general look of it, even though it's super easy to maintain. And then the original versions of it would get really, really hot in the summer, so you couldn't walk on them barefoot. So I think that gave a lot of people a lot of aversions to it. And now the newer composite materials hold up a lot better, and you're not concerned about that as much. But we're still stuck with that mindset of like, oh, you're going to burn your feet if you walk on it. And then if we talk about patio, whether it's concrete or paving stones, about 55 to 80%. An outdoor kitchen, which I do not recommend at all in Quebec because you can only really use it for 2-3 months, and the water lines inevitably break every single year. That is about, it's a huge range. It could be 55% all the way up to 200% because in a luxury home, you might really be able to increase that value by $50,000 to $100,000 with a $25,000 investment. And then gazebo pergola about 20 to 40%.
What about a washer and dryer on your front porch? What kind of return on investment do you get with that?
Negative.
Oh,
We're not in Mexico.
Go to your local eco center, dispose of everything properly. If somebody has a limited budget this summer, but they want to maximize their home's value or even just maximize their enjoyment, what area would you recommend they focus on first?
If it's exterior, I'd go with the landscaping route. Like I said, get a couple rakes, get some earth, get some planter beds, get some flowers. You can do a lot for really not that expensive. $1,000 will get you very, very far in that
Get
department.
the kids to help you.
Get the kids to help you out. Get them working.
My daughter loves playing in the dirt.
Yeah.
What kid doesn't love playing in dirt?
So that's 100% the first thing I would do. And then if we're talking inside, declutter and paint are always the two biggest return on investments for your property.
And that's pretty low investment, to be honest.
It's very low investment, but it's the things that require the most work from you.
Yes.
So decluttering, you have to decide what you're going to give away and what you're going to keep. Painting, you have to move things off of the wall and remove your paintings, make space for a painter to be able to paint or for yourself to be able to paint. So it's interesting that these things that are usually the biggest return require the most from you today to actually make happen.
I love decluttering. I love throwing things away. It brings me so much joy. In my new apartment, I have literal cabinets that have empty shelves. I am super minimalist. I want as little stuff as possible. I just love it. So,
Marie Kondo who?
Exactly. Does it bring me joy? No, throw it away. That's exactly how I operate. Although she had kids recently and she realized my method doesn't necessarily apply if you have children.
Oh.
It's a little bit more difficult.
At that.
Yeah, she came around.
but some of these things, won't they help sell a property? So, I remember when I was a renter, the first thing they used to do is they take you to the pool inside the apartment building with the sauna and the workout room. You go, I'm going to swim every day, I'm going to work out every day, and then I'm going to chill in the sauna. And then you move in, you never go there.
Yeah.
So
right.
if you've got an outdoor kitchen, a fire pit, a swimming pool, you'll go, yeah, that's the house I want. Does it help sell the house? Or is it one of these things that is a detriment to selling the house?
If you have this really large yard that has tons of flower beds, tons of landscape that requires a lot of maintenance, that can be a deterrent. Because your average millennial buyer now, which is kind of the average age of a buyer today, isn't very handy, doesn't know how to handle a garden, landscaping, etc.
Yep.
But if you have a normal, a good sized yard that's going to be a good space for kids to play, to set up a toy area, that is just grass, so it's easy to mow and maintain, that's fine. That's great. It's finding that fine balance, where it's perennials that come back on their own every single year. You just got to water them a bit, and taking care of mowing the lawn so it looks clean and crisp. And then again, we're at the mercy of all the trees around us, right? It was helicopter season 2 weeks ago where all the helicopters fell off the tree. You still have it this week? Okay, it was I had it 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
My
I
house
have it
was
this week.
Dandelion fluff everywhere.
Dandelion fluff this week. Every week there's been something right now, and it's just home ownership,
No, but it's part of it. When you own a property, there's maintenance who comes with.
Of course.
You got to do it.
But people don't want to do it. That's the difference.
There's a minimum to do,
Exactly. If you're not sure what you should be focusing on, what you should prioritize, you were thinking, oh man, I wasn't taking notes while LJ was talking. Don't worry, give him a call. He'll help you out. 514-500-4040. Coming up, Fred and Martin are going to answer more of your frequently asked mortgage questions. That's coming up after the news. This is Under One Roof MTL on CJD 800. I'm Robin Flynn with LJ Aguinaga of LJ Realties and Fred Pichette and Martin Spalding of Fred and Martin Mortgages. For the last few weeks, over a month at this point, gentlemen.
Well, there's a twist today.
Oh dear, I love a twist. Okay.
Because this is our last show.
Yes.
This kind of crept up on us, and our intention was to continue answering questions. But what Fred and I decided to do this week was to do a search to see what's on people's minds across Canada.
Oh.
And so we came up with the 5 questions that people are asking themselves. So we went to all the platforms. We went to ChatGPT, we went to Claude, we went to Grok, we went to Google. Said, what's on people's minds when it comes to mortgages? And the 5 questions, you've probably heard these questions before, but this is what is on people's minds. So sorry, you didn't get the memo. But I put the questions into the script.
Perfect.
So we're good to go.
Excellent. I love it. I love a twist. Let's go. First question. My mortgage is being renewed. What will my new payment be? And should I stay with my current bank?
Well, so this is still the number one question being asked across Canada. So a lot of Quebec owners are renewing mortgages that were taken 5 years ago when rates were much lower. So even if rates have come down from their peak, many people are still facing payment shock. The key message that we keep repeating is do not sign the first renewal offer you get from your current lender. Your current bank may be convenient, but convenience is not always the best strategy. Sometimes staying makes sense. Sometimes switching makes sense. And sometimes the real answer is not just the renewal. The real question and answer you need to be asking yourself is you should be reviewing your whole financial picture before you engage yourself into another mortgage. So, there are renewals, there are transfers, and there are refinancing your mortgage. And we're going to talk, that's the 5th question. And so what you really need to ask yourself is before you're renewing, just a renewal, is that what you really need to do? Knowing what your current financial situation is currently. So that's question number 1.
The best way to answer that question is by having conversations with people like you and Fred, Martin, sitting down with you, going through your financial situation and figuring out what's best for you in your situation.
You need to address it. I mean, I often hear Fred say, you know what, you can't sweep it under the carpet. It's not going to disappear. Your creditors are not going to forget your debts. So you know what, if you're hemorrhaging at home, because you just can't keep up with the interest payments, maybe refinancing is the way to go. But if everything is going great and you feel that the offer that the bank gave you is a good one, sign. But if you want to shop your mortgage around, we often say it, start early, 4 or 6 months. And then we can do a proper analysis of your file and we could shop it around. And we can also hold rates to up to 120 days. So even if you're 4 months out from renewing your mortgage, we find you a better offer, we can hold it. And if things change in those 4 months, you're only bound to your new mortgage once you've gone to the notary. So even if 48 hours before going to the notary, something changes, we can turn on a dime.
Perfect. Excellent. This is a big question that I hear people talking about all the time.
This one's for Fred. So
this one's for Fred.
This is Fred's favorite question.
Yeah. Should I take a fixed rate, a variable rate, or a shorter term?
Well, Robin, this is no longer just a rate question.
Yep.
It is a risk question. First, a fixed rate, what it gives you. Stability. It helps you to do your budget. You know your payment for the whole year, for the whole terms. And probably you could sleep better at night because you're on a fixed payment for the next 3 to 5 years. On the other hand, a variable rate may give you flexibility if rate eventually fall. But you need patience. And you need room in your budget. It might increase. You never know. If someone knows what's going to happen with interest rate in Canada, please give me a call.
Yeah.
Because we could forecast a little bit, but it's very hard to follow if you compare what happened in the last 5 years, 6 years. And in terms of the term, a shorter term can make sense for people who do not want to lock it for too long, especially when the rate outlook is uncertain. Lately, what we see a lot on the market is a 3 years fix or a 5 years variable are very popular. If you're on the fixed side, maybe a 3 years makes a lot of sense because there's good deals out there. But if you like to, I would say not to gamble, but to take a little risk, and maybe a variable rate could be the option as well. So It's a question very hard to answer. It really depends on your risk tolerance.
Yep.
And my father used to say, if a mortgage broker or a stockbroker had a crystal ball, they wouldn't be a broker.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice if we could all predict the future? Give me the lottery numbers while you're at it.
Exactly.
Okay, so can I refinance or consolidate debt to improve my monthly cash flow?
So this question is becoming more and more important. Yeah. So for many families, the mortgage is not the only pressure point. Credit cards, car loans, lines of credit, taxes, everyday expenses are all competing for the same paycheck. So the real question is often not, can I get a lower mortgage rate? The real question is, can I reduce my total monthly payments and breathe again? So refinancing or debt consolidation can help, but it must be done carefully. You do not want to turn your short-term debt into a long-term debt without a plan. The goal should be for better cash flow, lower stress, but a clear strategy to not rebuild that debt. So we just had a client refinanced a year ago.
Oh boy.
Called us back last week and said, can I do that again? And, I don't want to sound like I'm some sort of father figure. I don't want to sound like I'm holier than thou. But if you refinance to consolidate debt and you clear your credit cards, you clear your lines of credit, you pay off your car, the next day, don't start loading them up again. This is your get out of free jail card. And what you do is you race back to jail if you do that. And so time and time again, and I don't want to sound like I'm preachy, but you got to behave yourself. Because there's only so much equity in a home. There's only so many times you can do this before it catches up to you. And if it catches up to you, what's going to happen is you ultimately have to sell the house. So you're doing all this because you want to stay in your house. So behave yourself.
Yep. Very, very important. Preach away. It's great advice. It's not
preaching.
preaching if
Okay,
it's good
preaching.
advice. I love it. Do I have to qualify again if I renew, switch lenders, or refinance?
Well, this is one of the most misunderstood questions out there.
Yeah.
Let me try to clear it out. A renewal with your current lender is usually the simplest. Either you receive a letter, a call, an email with a document, with an offer, you just have to sign. A straight switch from your current lender to another lender may also be easier than many people think, especially if the mortgage amount and amortization are not increasing. You don't have to go through a full qualification again. But a refinance, as Martin says, is different. If you increase the mortgage amount, you extend the amortization, and add new debt into the mortgage, you should expect a full qualification review. And sometimes it's better to refinance than renew, especially as Martin says, if you feel a bit tight on your cash flow every month. Maybe the solution is not to take a great rate from your bank just to renew your mortgage. It's always better to refinance to bring you back some breathing room and cash flow. So renewal, switch, and refinance are not the same thing, and it carry different interest rate.
Different interest rate and different qualification procedures as well.
Of course.
Interesting. Okay, right before we get to traffic, we're running out of time, but I think we can squeeze it in. Can I still buy, or should I wait?
Okay, buying is always a very emotional question.
Yeah.
So if you have a stable income, a good down payment, manageable debt, and you plan to stay in the property for a long period of time, buying still makes sense. If the payment that you're looking at is too tight, your job situation is uncertain, or the plan is only short term, maybe waiting is a smarter move.
Yeah. To find out more about what your options are or to get answers to questions that we didn't address on the show, you can get in touch with Fred and Martin by visiting their website at fredandmartin.com. Coming up, our property of the week, plus the answer to our trivia question of the week. You're listening to Under One Roof MTL on CJAD 800. My name's Robin with Fred, Martin, and LJ. It's time now for our property of the week, and we're coming to my neck of the woods.
Yes, we are. We've done a lot of sales in the neck of the woods
LJ's
recently.
becoming the king of
He's the king of
Chattaday,
Chattaday, yeah. I wouldn't
by
trust
step.
anyone else to sell my house.
LJ for mayor.
Yep.
If your family has outgrown your space, 240 Rue Mountain in Chateauguay delivers. 3 bedrooms on the main floor, a renovated bathroom with heated floors, a modern kitchen, plus a fully finished basement with a 4th bedroom, a large family room, and a 2nd bathroom. Pool, deck, carport, and 4 driveway parking spots. The entire property has been updated throughout, priced at $575,000. Contact myself or Amanda at LJ Realties. LJ Realties, trusted local results. And we're doing an open house there from 2 to 4 p.m. My colleague Amanda will be on site. And if you're not into Chateauguay and you want to stay in the West Island, we've got another open house today from 2 to 4 p.m. that Marina is going to be running and showcasing. We've got this incredible 1,440 square foot, 2-story corner condo on the top floor of a quiet DDO building with 4 private balconies. This property is located steps from Fairview, Point Claire. The REM units like this don't come up often, and it's priced at $675,000. Don't forget to stop by, and the address, which I will confirm in 1 second for you.
By the way, Fred is looking for a ranch house, so better find Fred for a ranch house soon.
4,445 Boulevard Saint-Jean, apartment 403.
Perfect. And it has indoor parking spaces?
2 indoor garages. Not 1, but 2.
Best way to survive winter.
Oh, 100%. Cleaning off your car.
Garage.
Ugh, the worst. I have an indoor garage at my new apartment.
Ooh,
No
moving
more
up in the world.
cleaning off of the car. Plus, it keeps the car warm.
It does.
You don't get in there to a freezing cold. I mean, I do have, I call them tushy toasters, the little seat warmers. I think they're fantastic.
Tushy toasters.
Yeah,
Pizza warmers.
Do you have a heated steering wheel as well?
I don't. That was on the next model up. So I was like, I can just wear gloves.
Okay.
We can hang out. Awesome. So both open houses are today from 2 to 4 p.m.
Correct.
LJ.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, I got a 4-year-old to entertain this afternoon, rainy day.
Let's go.
Let's go to the open house. She'll be given the tours by the
There you
end.
go.
Perfect. Okay, the answer to our trivia question of the week. I think this may be the toughest one that we have asked all season because we got a bunch of different answers.
Right.
But very objective. We can actually get a very clear yes/no answer and confirm.
Exactly. And Joy in Hampstead was the first person to text in the correct response. Our question was, how many times has the Bank of Canada lowered the overnight rate in the last 12 months? The answer is 2. Twice. They've done it twice. September and October of 2025.
Yes, correct.
So 2 times in the last 12 months.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long
And they've been holding for 5 times.
And they've held for 5
since then.
Yep. Yeah. So Joy in Hampstead, congratulations. You're getting cookies from Felix and Norton delivered straight to your door. This is our last show before the summer. You will not hear us next Sunday here on CJD 800, but fear not, all of our shows are podcasted, so you can go back and listen to them. If you feel like I miss Fred, I miss Martin, I miss LJ, go back and listen to our old episodes.
However, Chris Berry, the program director,
yes,
have asked us to continue to be available this summer. So you've heard LJ on the Elias Macca show. You've heard me and or LJ on Weekends with Joanne Vrakis. So anytime that there's some breaking or important news in the world of real estate and mortgages, you can count on us to step up and give us your call it our point of view or to report the news.
Exactly. Your analysis of very, very important information.
Yeah.
And you'll still be working throughout the summer, so people can go and get in touch with you. So why don't we do that? Why don't we give all the places where people can go to reach you? LJ, how do people get in touch with you and book a meeting with you?
The easiest thing to do is to go onto our website, ljrealties.com. You can also find me on all socials with the handles LJ Aguinaga or LJ Realties. You can also call or text me directly at 514-500-4040. If you'd like to just book a meeting, go straight to meetwithlj.com. Book a time that works for you. It'll go into both of our calendars, and then we can discuss whatever it is that you're looking to discuss real estate related. And then reach out to our property management company, The Plex Doctor, at plexdr.com. If you're looking to relax and have somebody else handle your property management for you, you can also contact us at 514-500-5222.
Excellent. Fred, Martin, where do people go to get in touch with you this summer?
So before giving out our coordinates, I want to do a couple things. I want to thank the 3 of you for a terrific season.
That's been great.
I want to thank my partner. I want to thank LJ. I want to thank Robin for putting the show together. I also want to thank Chris Berry, the program director at CJAD, for allowing us this time slot. I also want to thank the staff at CJAD for helping us put the show on the air. So it's been, which season is this now?
This was season 5.
Season 5.
So we'll be coming back in the fall.
Crazy how time flies. So to get in touch with Fred and I, the best way is through the website, fredmartin.com. You'll find our phone numbers, our email addresses. You can even book us through the site. Always best way to get in touch with us is through fredmartin.com or
fredandmartin.com. And if you just have a question or phone number are there, you could just pick up the phone, give us a call. You need advice. Your mortgage come to maturity soon. You don't know what to do. We'll be more than happy to help.
You've even got a blog section on the website where people can go and read.
Well, when blogging was a big thing, the first year we were in business, we were writing a blog a week. They're all there. They're still relevant.
100%.
But, we were talking to our little agency and they said, Martin, why aren't you writing blogs anymore? It's really good for SEO and SEM. And I said, okay, maybe. We're going to be doing a lot of work on our website and so on and so forth to relaunch in September, probably at the same time as the show. Look, Chris Berry just texted us and he goes, you're more than welcome.
Oh, he's always listening.
He's always listening. That guy is stuck to the radio.
He is. He is always listening, and we're very grateful for that.
Thanks,
and for
Chris.
him. Yeah. Well, I thank you guys for being so much fun to work with, for letting me bring my daughter to work. Very, very appreciated. Thanks to Marissa, who's on the board today. She did an excellent job her first time upping this show, so good job. If you missed anything, you can listen to this show in its entirety on the iHeartRadio app, also Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. For LJ, Fred, and Martin, I'm Robin. Have a wonderful Sunday and a wonderful summer.
Marketing is hard. But I'll tell you a little secret. It doesn't have to be. Let me point something out. You're listening to a podcast right now, and it's great. You love the host. You seek it out and download it. You listen to it while driving, working out, cooking, even going to the bathroom. Podcasts are a pretty close companion. And this is a podcast ad. Did I get your attention? You can reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements or run a pre-produced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience in their favorite podcasts with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com, that's Libsyn, ads.com today.